continue our second round coverage. Countdown, then the Pacers and the Knicks on the way here on ESPN.
6, it is upon us, and the stakes couldn't be much higher. The Pacers, they're undefeated at Gainbridge Fieldhouse in these playoffs, and they will need to stay that way for their postseason hopes to stay alive. If they're going to do that, they're going to need more from their all-star point guard Tyrese Halliburton, who had just 13 points on 9 shots in Game 5. At home, though, he turns it up, and no one would like him send him packing for Paris more than Jalen Brunson. New York fans, they can taste it. For the first time in nearly 25 years, this sentence is true. The Knicks are 1 win away from the conference finals, and we are counting you down on ESPN.
Welcome to NBA Countdown, presented by Hennessy.
Hey, welcome inside our Los Angeles studios. He is Stephen A. Smith. He is Bob Myers, the legend Michael Wilbon. I'm Malika Andrews. We have an enormous Game 6. So, gentlemen, let's not waste any more time. Just 30 minutes to get you set here for what could be the biggest Knicks game in over 2 decades. So let's get it. It's time to check out who's made for more, brought to you by Hennessy. New York, on the brink of their first conference finals berth since 2000. Wilbon, PTI wasn't even on the air yet.
Jalen Brunson's
dad, Rick, was wearing orange and blue, Stephen A. And a big reason why they're knocking on that door, right? Jalen Brunson, since 1985, only 3 players have scored more than Brunson through a team's first 11 playoff games. Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Kevin Durant. Anyone heard of
nice list.
those gentlemen?
I heard of them.
And Brunson is going to need to bring it, right, if the Knicks are going to close out the Pacers on the road. The visiting team has yet to win a game so far in this series in that building, and Indiana boasts the best home court point differential of any team that is still alive. So it feels like, gentlemen, from this side of the desk, Cassidy Hubbard,
New York, stand
Mike
up.
Green, take it away.
New York, stand up.
Thank you, Malika. Indianapolis, Indiana. We're in the Hoosier State, where they love their Pacers and hoping their season will not end tonight. But the Knicks looking to do just that. It's been a riveting series with a little bit of everything, perhaps even a Game 7. That's going to be determined this evening as we welcome you to NBA Courtside, presented by Pronamel. The Boston Celtics anxiously awaiting the winner of this series for a conference finals matchup. Still work to be done in the 2 Western Conference semifinals. And good evening, everyone, along with JJ Redick and Doris Burke. Mike Green on hand, Cassidy Hubbard with us as well. It's been a terrific series featuring 2 of the special young point guards in the NBA. Both have changed the direction of their franchise. Both have been spectacular at times in the playoffs. Both have also had some rough games in this series, including one, JJ, that's facing elimination tonight. Tyrese Halliburton. What do the Pacers need from him this evening?
He led the league in assists, but the Indiana Pacers are at their best when Tyrese Halliburton is aggressive to score. Far too many times in this series, he has been passive in looking for his own shot. The Knicks are going to force him left and pick and roll. That runner is there for the taking. He can self-create from 3. He's shooting over 43% from beyond the arc, and this part's important. Miles McBride, full denial off the ball in Game 5. He's got to move without the basketball. The Pacers are 5-1 in these playoffs when he takes more than 15 shots.
So while Halliburton struggled in Game 5, Jalen Brunson once again was brilliant after he struggled in the games here in Indiana. What was the difference, Doris?
There seemed to be a bounce and a pop back in his step, and when he's got that burst, he is as dangerous a driver as there is in these playoffs. In fact, he's the most productive driver in these playoffs. The Pacers have sent any number of defenders. Nembhard has not been up to the challenge. He's gotten by in isolation. The strategic change by the Knicks was starting McBride. It makes more space. He splits Tyrese Halliburton. He's equally good with the floater. Mr. Nembhard has had success, Mike, big, strong athlete, when he's gotten downhill and scored. And look at what he's done in an 8-game span. 44 in his last game, not since 1993 have we had this kind of run.
Of course, we focus on the stars, but often in games like this, it's the supporting cast that can make the difference. With more on that, we check in with Cassidy. Hey, Cassidy.
Hey, Mike. Well, Miles McBride is back in that 3-guard starting lineup after replacing Precious Achiuwa after Game 5, and his teammates have lauded his ability to space the floor and give him an added boost defensively, especially against Tyrese Halliburton. And Deuce acknowledged that he has to go up another level tonight to have similar success. His game plan against Halliburton is to make it as difficult as he can, understanding Tyrese is going to be a lot more aggressive. and to be more prepared for off-ball screening and a lot more movement overall. Halliburton told me he felt he was giving into McBride's denials too much, being too passive. And tonight he needs to go chasing the ball and help set the tone on offense in a game he says they are as desperate as you can get, Mike.
Thank you, Cassidy. The home teams won all 5 games. Can the Knicks get the first road win and end the series? Or will the Pacers continue their home court dominance and force a Game 7? It's the Knicks and the Pacers. Game 6 just ahead.
NBA Courtside on ESPN is presented by New Pronamel Repair Mouthwash. Actively repairs enamel beyond brushing alone.
They played really well back in Indiana.
And the beatdown continues here in Game 4.
Put us on our heels. We just knew that we had to go respond.
Crosses in for 10. Hits a 3. I can't change the culture. I see the hate, so say what you say, because I got to watch for the vultures.
Oh, Brunson. Oh, Brunson. Are you kidding?
The Knicks make a statement in front of this home crowd. And they are now 1 win away from the Eastern Conference Finals.
They did what they're supposed to do. Now it's time for us to go home and do what we're supposed to do.
Yeah, walk tall, see the call, do another small, I'ma be the greatest. Good luck keeping up everything I gain, you know what the name is?
In the playoffs, one game does not have any effect on the next. It's all about Game 6. We know what's at stake. We know what we have to do.
It's that time again. The New York Knicks and the Indiana Pacers in the NBA playoffs, presented by Google Pixel. The conference semifinals delivered by Chipotle. Here in Indianapolis, fans have waited all day to pack the Gainbridge Fieldhouse, and it will be packed and it will be loud as they hope this is not the last time they get to cheer on their Pacers. And throughout this series, both buildings here in Indiana and back in New York at Madison Square Garden, incredible home court advantage. The fans have really lifted their teams, truly been the sixth man, hence no road victory so far in the series. Meanwhile, even though the game here in Indianapolis, back in New York, as always, those watch parties that they love to have, as fans at Madison Square Garden hoping for a clinching victory and advancing to the conference finals. There's the starting lineups. Rick Carlisle has started the same 5, all 12 playoff games. Tom Thibodeau, of course, made the change in Game 5. Miles Deuce McBride will get his second straight start as we're set to go. Well, he's got an outstanding NBA Finals type officiating crew as well here tonight with Zach Zarba, John Goebel, and David Guthrie. And this is just another great playoff atmosphere. And how do the Pacers respond? It's going to be fun to see again. Only the 3rd time in playoff history a team won by 30 after losing the previous game of the series by 30. And that's what's happened in the last 2 games, 2 blowouts. And the Pacers will control the start. Siakam down the lane.